Urban gentrification. What is it? It's the changes that result when wealthier people acquire or rent property in low-income and working-class communities. By Melanie+Hughes for Urban and Public Issues. What causes urban gentrification? The production side theory, which justifies gentrification as an economic process. Economic process is consequent to the fluctuating relationships among capital investments in the production of urban space. The consumption side theory justifies gentrification as a social process, which occurs when suburban gentry tire of the urban sprawl and perceive the attractiveness of the city center. Consequences of urban gentrification. The average income increases and family size decreases in the community, resulting in the displacement of poor native residents unable to pay increased rents, house prices, and property taxes. New businesses cater to the affluent customers and increase the appeal to more affluent migrants and decrease the accessibility of the poor. Heterogeneous to homogeneous. Changes in a more suburban characterized neighborhood. The process made feasible by government-sponsored private real estate investments that are repairing local infrastructure through deferred taxes, mortgages for the poor and first-time house buyers, and financial incentives for the owners of the decayed rental housing. An example of urban gentrification is in Ghent, Norfolk, Virginia. Abandoned during white flight, Old Dominion University is close by for graduates looking for housing. It used to be a low-income area. Surrounded by businesses, it has rapidly grown and become more expensive to live in. Pictured to the left is a picture of Norfolk about 50 years ago prior to urban gentrification. What are the gentrifier types? Typically, it begins with first-stage gentrifiers. Socially, these people are young, have low incomes, while possessing the cultural capital, an education, and a job. They are more tolerant of the generally looked upon as downfalls of these cities, such as crime, poor schooling, and insufficient public services. Gentrification in the United States. Gentrifiers often resemble the populace of people who earlier abandoned the city in the phenomenon known as white flight. The consumption side theory of gentrification requires the existence of a service sector economic class, university-educated adults, those with a disposable income, and those who wish to live near the jobs in the city. Impacts of urban gentrification. Economic development actions reduce local property crime, increase property values and prices, and increase tax revenues. This has caused an increase in artist communities. In some places, urban gentrification has caused more homosexual opportunities. For example, San Francisco. Controlling gentrification. Communities have been organizing to retain the local affordable housing, developing the necessary socio-political strategies for this mission. Direct action and sabotage is targeting property of gentrifiers and vandalism and arson. Zoning ordinances are used to assure that the new resident gentry do not create a negative impact upon the community's commerce. For example, it can be used as a noise limitation for a club so that the gentry do not complain. It can be used to recognize and support local businesses and industries. Rent control. Rent can be charged so that lower income residents are not forced to evict.